Welcome to Talking Giants, presented by SeatGeek. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick, and we've got ourselves a Patriots preview and a guaranteed win because I will be in attendance. We have a free tailgate, or free food. Bring your own alcohol out of L16 on the curb. We got an interview coming up in a little bit. Justin, how are you doing?
Hello, Bobby Skinner. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We're recording this on Thanksgiving. You're listening to this on Black Friday. Shop.johnmedia.com. You can get nice shirts like this. New York football with all the Super Bowl years that we won Super Bowls. We beat the Patriots in 2 Super Bowls. I don't know if you knew that.
Every time we play the Patriots, Justin, it does mean more. Obviously, not like, oh, we got to win this game, but it's like it does bring back all the memories. Like, this is like a low key, like, we don't hate the Patriots, but there's history within this matchup. So I do look forward to this matchup every 4 years. Last time was the 2019 Thursday night football game when the Giants started the worst running back in my lifetime, John Hillman.
Don't say that about John Hillman, my friend who I went to high school with. Quiz. Personal quiz. This is not like a knowledgeable quiz or anything. What is my favorite Giants game that I have ever been to?
Oh, it's the 38-35 last game of 2007.
That's right, Week 17. Favorite game that I've ever been to. Like one of the greatest football games that I've ever just been to. A game that meant nothing, but a game that meant everything at the same time.
That was a Saturday night game, and I think it was supposed to be the first ever game that was exclusively on NFL Network to get people to add NFL Network to their package, but they're like, this is too big of a deal where they just put it on NBC.
Yeah.
Now NFL Network is basically a part of every cable package that you get. So the more you know. So I do love this matchup. I mean, again, the cool thing about this matchup is, like, not just the Super Bowls. It's like they played each other in those Super Bowl years, right? And you know, the probably the most a moral victory. There's no bigger moral victory in NFL history than that Week 17 game, and then the Giants beating them in 2011, and then in the Super Bowl, and even like 2015, I feel like is a great example of how that season went, right? Where Giants are in there competing, could have won that division very easily, but you just couldn't close out a game. Landon Collins drops an interception, and they're able to drive and win that game. So
that season was tough.
I don't really feel like doing the tank talk about this because
we did it on the mailbag.
Yeah, so we don't need to get into all that. We have an interview breaking it down. But this is going to be a hell of a game. The number 31 offense versus the number 32 offense. The Giants are getting a little banged up. The Patriots defense, right? Like, I haven't been paying too much attention to it until this week. They're banged up on defense, right? Like, Judon's gone. Christian Gonzalez is gone. They've got other guys injured where that defense has not been as good. Now, they stopped the run pretty damn well. But like passing, pass wise, they give up chunk plays, right? And they're not as bad as Washington, but they have like busted coverages that lead to a big plays, right? Like attack J.C. Jackson, who's back with them since the Chargers let him go. My big thing for this game, Justin, is not necessarily the result at the end of it, but I'm excited to see how the offense, specifically the offensive coaching staff, Dable and Kafka, attack after the success they had last week. Like, how do they adapt? Do they try and get some more of the same stuff, or are they bringing a new stuff out? Like, I'm really excited to see how this offensive coaching staff handles Game 3 for Tommy DeVito.
So how would you attack it?
I would do similar stuff to the Commanders game, but maybe try and work a little more of your quick game, right? So you're not so vulnerable to sacks, and kind of, hey, this is game number 3, DeVito. Get the ball out on time. Because, again, the Patriots aren't going to be undisciplined for an entire game like the Commanders, where it's like, let's just keep doing this type of stuff. They'll have their undisciplined plays or busted coverage types plays, but they're not the Commanders, where it's like almost a game plan for them to be undisciplined. So I would work a little more the quick game, right? But again, taking a lot of those same shots, looking for explosives. Like, I would go out big game hunting for explosive plays this week.
their run defense is still really good, and that's what worries me. Where I think the success the Giants' offense is going to have is through the air. They've been one of the worst defenses over the last month through the air. So that's really where I think their success is going to be had. Where their run defense is still pretty good.
Yeah, they're basically like, as I was looking at actually EPA shout out. I was looking like they're like top 5 run defense, bottom 5 pass defense.
And you know what? Efficiency wise, it is the same as Washington, but I think what they do on defense is very, very different. I'm sure.
Yeah, they Bill Belichick's been switching it up a little bit, and I'm excited to see Jabril Peppers in this game. I think he's going to be playing fired up. He's become a fan favorite over there.
Not surprising.
Yeah, it's not surprising. Kyle Duggar has been having to play deep a little more often, where I think he's more fun. He's a player who Kyle Duggar, I feel like, can be used better, but because out of necessity they're playing him deep, where I feel like he's kind of that guy you move all around the field and use him to make plays. But they just don't have any pass rush right now without Judon. And yeah, on the flip side, their offense. The last 2 games, Wink has really thrown a lot of zone coverages, right? Gone zone heavy. And I think part of that is personnel. I think Adoree should be back this week. I think that played a part of it. But also second time playing those opponents, right? Divisional matchups, second time playing the Cowboys and Commanders. It seems like Mac Jones is starting for them, who is immobile. They have nobody who really threatens you as a receiver. I think this is going to be a Jets type of game plan for the Giants, where we're gonna blitz, we're gonna stunt, and we're gonna come after you all game long.
I think it's also, I mean, it should be a heavy ground game too. I mean, they scored 10 points they lost to the Colts. They scored 6 points last week against the Colts, and they ran the ball 33 times. So, and only 20.
Yeah, they don't pass the ball on any time that like you can get away with, like, hey, this could be a running down. They basically have turned into that. Like it's gotten. I mean, the Giants' offense is ugly, but they are just as ugly, if not uglier, with what's happened after the first few weeks not being so bad.
Why are they starting Mac Jones?
I mean, Bailey Zappe's. I don't know if he's going to be a better option, right? And we actually talked about it on the interview. Or maybe it was on the other show I went on. You remember that Wink just blitzed the piss out of Bailey Zappe and Mac Jones in that preseason game last year, and they just kept on throwing back shoulder fades. Like if they get Bailey Zappe in there, Wink's just going to blitz him.
Yeah,
like all game long. And I don't know if he's going to be able to handle that. Where Mac was like, "Hey, I've got the experience where I can at least know what blitzes are and handle blitzes," even though that I don't know if Mac Jones can handle much right now.
Yeah. You know what? Do you think that they could have a similar game plan of just throwing? Because usually bad offenses, they throw a lot of these back shoulder stuff and just give their receivers 50-50 opportunities, and utilizing the sideline so much is a sign of a bad offense, a la Kenny Pickett of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you think that could be a game plan for the Patriots? And then I would be, in a way, excited to see that, because I want to see Deontay Banks, Trey Hawkins, if Trey Hawkins is going to be out there, Cordell Flott. I want to see them make plays on a football.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be like the preseason game where they were just. I feel like they were very pissed off at what was happening in that preseason game. I mean, they don't play each other in the preseason. That relationship between Belichick and the Giants is all very strained right now.
Oh yeah, it's very bad
due to the Brian Flores situation, and then Wink deciding to blitz the piss out of the Patriots in the first preseason game, let alone a preseason game. So I think Mac Jones will be starting. So yeah, I would be interested to see if they get to some of that stuff. I don't know if they've been doing it as much this year with Bill O'Brien as their offensive coordinator compared to Judge and Patricia. But yeah, that's what they did like in the regular season last year too, where they were very much a back shoulder offense all year long. And maybe that's a little bit of Mac Jones being like pissed off and just throwing the alert over and over again because he hates the offense. But yeah, it's pretty dysfunctional over there right now. Where I actually view their offense as more dysfunctional than the Giants as constructed right now. It's like at least we have good coaching on our side. They don't really have that right now.
And also, you could say the line's better. I do think the Patriots line is better. as a unit and as a whole, like Trent Brown's
Trent Brown.
is a very, very good tackle. But I do like we talked about who has more talent, Giants or the Washington Commanders last week. I think the Giants offensively easily have more, and maybe even defensively. I think both sides of the ball, Giants easily have more talent than the Patriots do.
I think it depends, and which is crazy to say. I think it depends on if Darius Slayton plays, because the Giants are a Darius Slayton injury away from this wide receiver room looking really bad. Because Jalen Hyatt, he gets open vertically, but that's essentially it. They don't have much trust in him and anything else in the playbook. Hodgins,
Sterling Shepard would be like the guy that would get the most snaps because you like him blocking, right?
Yeah, and he's the best route runner. I think Shepard would play if Slayton's a no-go.
Yeah.
I think he would get more reps than Hodgins at this point. Remind me to add him to the big board for the fantasy draft. So yeah, it'd be obviously we're recording this a little early because it's Thanksgiving, so we don't have the injury report from Thursday. But I actually believe Darius Slayton could be like a difference maker of like a win and a loss in this game, which is pretty crazy. So if he plays or not,
there you go.
All right, do we got any? I mean, we have an interview, so we don't need to go crazy into the match. Was there anything that like news this week? Like, do you care about the Deonte Banks stuff? I mean, we basically hit everything that we need to say on Sunday. Nothing else that really came out of it, right?
What reporter asked Tommy DeVito was his Italian celebration Italian or not?
God, that was worse. That made me those questions cringe. Like, was it Italian? He's like, yeah, it's Italian. And then Jordan was like, what's it mean to you? It's like, dude, don't make him explain what that means to him. It's like when someone asks you to explain a joke. Like, please don't make me explain a joke. Like, you're ruining it.
It's like Victor Cruz doing the salsa after, like, oh, one of my I did it for one of my family members because that's what we did growing up. What does that mean to you? And then it's like Tommy DeVito doing the.
Is that Puerto Rican?
Like, okay, that's a worthy question. What does that mean to you, Victor Cruz? And what does this mean to you, Tommy DeVito?
Yeah, what does that mean to you? It's like, dude, it's like.
Is it Italian?
Is it Italian? Are bonita fish big?
I've never. I don't like saying this, but like touch grass. Like you got to get out.
When you did that Victor Cruz thing at Foot Locker, you should have asked them like this also. If we got to do that again, we would have to remake that Tommy DeVito interview. Like, is that Puerto Rican? What does it mean to you?
I'm glad I didn't ask this, but I did want to ask Victor Cruz. I'm like, are you at a point where it's like you just want to say, like, no? Like, would people say, "Can you do the salsa with me?" You just like, no, I don't.
Oh, yeah, if you ask them to do the salsa.
Yeah.
Also, when you're interviewing someone that you know that like they're famous for something, they're going to get asked about it a lot, and they probably don't like being asked about it. A great trick to ask them about it is saying, "How annoyed are you by people asking you about like the salsa?" And then you get to talk about it without having them like roll their eyes like, all right, interview number 2000 talking about the salsa, having to explain the same thing.
Victor Cruz caught a touchdown pass against the Patriots in 2011 Super Bowl 46.
Yes, he did. And I wish SeatGeek was around for that Super Bowl because I would have went. And today's episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. If you don't know what SeatGeek is, their ticketing app that makes buying tickets super simple. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including sports, concerts, festivals, and more. And Justin, I'm going to the game this week. And I've been looking at SeatGeek all week, right? Waiting for the moment to strike to get my tickets for this game. I may cut this one to the deadline because I know SeatGeek, even though there's great deals on there now, they might get me even greater deals. They always want to make sure that you are getting a good deal. So when you're on the app, look for the green dots. Green means good. Red means bad. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. And that's the thing is like, a lot of ticketing apps, it's like if you want to keep checking it, it's a pain in the ass. SeatGeek, you literally just open the app, click on the event, and it's like, okay, this is the idea where it is. You don't got to go hunting for anything. We've got the hookup. Use code GIANTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code GIANTS. Click the link in the description to download the app. You'll be glad you did. And here is Taylor Kyles, who covers the Patriots. Great guess. I recommend going and watching the film show that we did on his thing. But after you listening to this entire podcast, including the outro, every second of it, here's Taylor Kyles. All right, we now welcome on to the program Taylor Kyles. He covers the Patriots for CLNS Media, and we know we've kind of scrapped our interview segment on our preview pods because people don't really care about the result that much. But when it's someone that I like watch their work and a fan of their work, especially an AFC opponent, you only get once every 4 years. Like I'm making sure we have them on. So Taylor, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. I'm glad to have you. We had a little home and home. Just did my show. It was a great time. So I'm excited for round two.
Yeah, honestly, go check out his show. I think it'll be a lot more fun than this one. But hang out for the segments with Danny King and stay for the interview. So 2 questions before we get into like the meat and potatoes of the game. Mm-hmm. First, how is Joe Judge and Jabril Peppers doing?
Jabril has actually been killing it.
He's a perfect fit for Belichick defense.
He has been, and we just like took a while for him to finally get there. But yeah, man, locker room presence. Like we're talking, Matthew Slater usually does like a breakdown when they win, something that he got from Teddy Bruschi. It's like it's always him. Jabril actually did it after like one of their only wins. I think it was against the Bills, which is like significant. I saw it and I was like, he's going to be a captain next year. And beyond that, I mean, he's killing it on defense. He's playing a lot deep, but he's still in the slot in the box. You know, they do a great job maximizing him. He's been great against the run. He's making plays against the pass. He's been a turnover machine for them, really, which they desperately needed, especially after a rough couple weeks early on in the season. So yeah, Jabril been fantastic. He's a PFF darling this year, doing really well. Joe Judge and the special teams units have not been doing great. He had Bryce Behringer, the rookie punter. He's been doing pretty well. Shad Ryland, I think is right now, I think is the lowest conversion rate among kickers right now. Not great for him. And then the coverage units have just had some kind of weird moments. Like you saw against Germany, they tried to block and had no returner, which cost them a lot of field position for an offense. It's not very good. It needs field position. They've given up some big returns. They are insistent on not just like kicking out of the end zone and taking touchbacks with the new league rules. They're like, nope, we're going to make you return it. But they don't cover them very well. So it hasn't been a great strategy. But, you know, they're trying to instill some toughness or whatever. But, yeah, Jabril and Joe Judge are on 2 very different ends of the spectrum in their Patriots careers right now.
I love Jabril, and I think he got hated by Giants fans. One, because he was part of the Odell trade. Mm-hmm. And that he kind of represented Odell not being there for a lot of people. And also, he's just not a perfect player, right? He's not like a top 5 safety in the NFL, but he's so versatile and good. And again, like as a leader too, I love Jabril. Here's the second one. Who's starting at quarterback for the Patriots? Because Bill Belichick has not told us who is going to be the starter this week.
Everyone's been mum on it, but this is the first time we actually got to talk to Mac Jones today. So he said he's preparing like he's going to be the starter, which, you know, every quarterback says, even if you're on the practice squad. He also made a comment I thought was kind of interesting where he said, like, the Giants, they blitz a lot, and said it takes experience to be able to handle that. I go, that's an interesting thing to say when Bailey Zappi hasn't really, he only started 3 games when Mac was hurt last year. But I wouldn't really call that experience. Will Greer's been in the NFL since 2019, but he hasn't, you know, gotten a lot of live reps outside of the preseason. So, you know, between Max saying he's preparing like he's going to be the starter, no one strongly hinting that it's going to be Zappi, and then the comment about the experience and everything. And I don't think that Bill Belichick would force his team to go an entire week without knowing who the quarterback is going to be. I don't think he cares about us on the outside. But based off those little breadcrumbs, I would go with Mac. Also because he's their best quarterback, despite just being his own turnover machine through 10 weeks.
Someone has to take first team reps, right? Like, so that's if he's taking the first team rep. Also, they asked Dable about what he's expecting. He started just naming off all these random Will Greer games in his career. I'm like, is Will Greer going to be starting?
Interesting.
Yeah. So now we know who's starting a quarterback. The offense ranked 31st, right? The only offense in the NFL that's been worse is your own New York Giants. And
Flash of the Titans here.
Yeah, usually what the Patriots numbers would be number 32, but the Giants are having just a fantastic year. I do want to talk about like what Mac Jones is doing to contribute to that. But outside of the QB, what have been like the major issues with this offense?
Offensive line health is like right up there. Cole Strange, first, Mike Nwenu, who I think you could argue is their best offensive lineman overall. He had offseason ankle surgery, missed the entire summer, didn't play the first week either. So that was just a lot of time that he had to miss, and then was in and out of the lineup because he was still kind of working around it. Cole Strange, like the first week of training camp, has a knee injury. Didn't play the rest of the summer, the preseason, also missed the season opener, and then also was in and out of the lineup. When you have a pocket passer like Mac Jones, not having your two starting guards, it's a pretty big hole. And they didn't have any real reliable veteran backups. They drafted a bunch of interior offensive linemen. They had Antonio Mafia out of UCLA, a converted nose tackle as the top backup. He is currently the lowest graded offensive lineman in PFF's database. So that tells you how well he did when he was in relief duty. And then Trent Brown's been in and out of the lineup as well. He had a concussion. Now he's got ankle and knee injuries. Don't even know if he's going to play at left tackle on Sunday. And right tackle, that was the big issue for most of the season. You know, Dante Scarnecchia, the Patriots' legendary offensive line coach, he always says that if you have one bad player on the line, you can work around that. If you have two, you're in trouble. So it was one thing when they didn't have their guards, but then they also had just to throw desperate options at right tackle until they settled on Mike Nwenu, who's been great now that he's healthy and back. He's been there for about 3 weeks. But just offensive line health really hurt Mac Jones's confidence. First couple of weeks, I thought Mac actually played well. He was a reason that they were competitive in those games. But then you saw it really got bad against the Cowboys, where he didn't trust his protection at all. And usually you'd see Mac struggle, but he wouldn't really compound his errors. He usually did a good job of being like, all right, time to, put my suit on, my business suit on and get to work. I don't know where that analogy came from. I just made it up. But then you started to see he just started spiraling. Like bad plays got worse. And then his decision-making got it was getting to the point where you don't see high school quarterbacks making some of the decisions he was making, like throwing across his body, running out with the ball out when you're being chased, just, not good football. But it's not about Mac Jones. But yeah, the offensive line, that killed his confidence. And then exacerbating that was the fact the Patriots don't have explosiveness at receiver. They got Pop, who's a rookie. He's an undersized jitterbug. He's been good for them, but he's a rookie from Liberty who's still learning how to run routes. Like you'll see him run the wrong thing at least once every single week. Kendrick Bourne also went down with a torn ACL in week 8. So he was the only veteran that they had to rely on at wide receiver. And now a group that already came into the season as one of the league's least talented units got even worse. Mac didn't have time to find guys, and then he was just missing them when they've been open. Like when a team is this bad, as I'm sure you know, there's plenty of blame to go around. But at the top of that list, I would say it's been the offensive line because Mac's confidence has just plummeted because he doesn't trust his protection.
Now the Giants are going to blitz. I would expect them to blitz at him a ton, right? Especially because he's probably the most immobile quarterback that they will play this year. What are like the easy? I guess there's nothing easy in this Patriots stuff, but what are the things that like they try and do to like combat some of the pass blocking issues? And even if they held up versus like the Giants front four this week, they're going to be sending a lot of guys. What are the things that they try and do to help against that?
Yeah, so I mean, the easy answer obviously is run the ball. Like we saw when they played against the Colts in Germany in the second half, Mac only threw on an early down where they hadn't lost yardage 4 times in the second half. Now, that was because he got sacked 5 times in the first half alone. And then in the second half, he wasn't really doing anything wrong in the first half. The second half, he threw, I think, 4 passes in the red zone, and they were all like catastrophic. One was the interception I'm sure everyone's seen where he's flailing back and just throws it up. So the run game, they really leaned on heavily, especially now that Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott are really getting going. The quick game, there's been some RPO use, a little bit more than we saw early on in the season in terms of actually throwing on it sometimes. And that's really been the biggest key, especially because Mac can't really be trusted to make smart decisions consistently. So it's not even that you're compensating for the line. You're also compensating for your quarterback. So it's going to be a lot of trying to get the ball into Demario Douglas's hands as quickly as possible. You'll see some stack alignments where they'll try to get him or Hunter Henry some easy releases, although I think they could use those more. But yeah, man, it's I was looking forward to this season with Bill O'Brien being able to be like, I'll have my own little encyclopedia of all the cool stuff the Pats are doing. But when you have the dearth of pieces they have in a quarterback who is doing fine 75% of the time and then just 25% of the time loses his GD mind, it's made it really tough on the play calling and the offensive execution. So really, yeah, it's quick passes, some RPOs in the run game for the vast majority of how they're trying to get around those issues.
And the run game, when I look at it, it doesn't look overly efficient, right? And we know Ramondre Stevenson's put up some numbers in the past. Is that just kind of down to the offensive line again? And like something, yeah. And with this, what do they like in the like? Are they zone based, gap based, or a mix of both?
Primarily downhill. And against, I think it was the Cowboys. I think it was the Cowboys. They tried to use more outside zone concepts, but they got a massive offensive line. Like Cole Strange is the only guy you consider like a really good athlete. Other than that, you got Mike and when he was Trent Brown, who were 350 plus pounds. When it was Antonio Mafi, another guy's like 350 pounds. City So is kind of a big guy. So they like to use a lot of duo, a lot of inside zone, so they can just get doubles, get some push vertically, and then have their big backs, just kind of keep giving you body blows. Last week, we saw them use more outside zone and pin pull stuff. Not last week, 2 weeks ago against the Colts. Had success with it for the first time, like I said, since like the Cowboys game. It's been a really long time since they even really tried it, but started to actually have some success. So maybe they'll have a little bit more diversity there. And in terms of the inefficiency, it's because their interior, like every once in a while, they'll just lose a block really badly. Like City So had his best game as a run blocker last week, but his thing has been more pass protection. Like he doesn't give up a lot of pressures because he refits well, he re-anchors. Like he'll lose early, but it's pretty tough to beat him late. But what you're seeing is he isn't really a consistently good run blocker. Cole Strange, he's talked about, with me personally, how the fact that he's put on weight but didn't get to practice the physical elements of the position in the summer really hurt his progression. So you're going to see some ugly losses where sometimes he's over aggressive or his feet aren't in the right place. And a smart defensive tackle like a Dexter Lawrence is going to make him look really bad because they process these things so quickly. And also the tackles. They got Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, Pharaoh Brown. Like those are three of the only reliable players they have. So they feature those guys in the run game a lot. Mike Gesicki, they've been smarter and made him really more of just a big wide receiver, a Z type, where he's only really blocking safeties and cornerbacks. But also you see Hunter Henry and Pharaoh Brown, for all the solid reps they have, and Pharaoh Brown's really physical, they'll get just blown up and pushed into the backfield. And then you'll see like the running back gets the handoff and they have to deal with pressure really quickly. You even saw that on our show where the clip that I use, Ramondre Stevenson, is one where City So immediately loses and he's got to deal with two guys in the backfield. So it's not so much the running backs, I don't think. And that was the quandary. Was it, okay, Ramondre and Zeke aren't doing well early in the season. Is it the line? Is it them? What's going on? Because they're not making, something out of nothing. Now we're seeing them make something out of nothing because I think they're playing with more explosiveness. They're not super explosive. This is not an explosive run game. When it's running well, it's more efficient than anything else. But yeah, the inconsistency up front sometimes just knocks them off schedule. And then you're running well, but then you get a play where it's second and 12, and you're like, well, we can't really run here. And if you do, you're basically conceding and saying you're going to punt in a couple plays. So yeah, just inconsistency up front is, I would say, the biggest thing.
On the defensive side, right? You kind of view even in past years where since Brady's left, or even that last year of Brady in 2019, where the offense hasn't been up to snuff, the defense has been. You look at the raw numbers and they're not very good. And then you look at, stuff like EPA where it shows they're a bad pass defense and a good run defense. Are they better than the numbers look? Are they like a product of the offense being bad? And like, what is like the vibe around this defense? Because if you look at the Giants defense of they're like 28th in scoring, but you kind of feel good about a lot of pieces on it too. So is that similar with the Patriots right now?
Patriots, it's just like this whole season, man. It's just been everything. So for the defense, they lost Christian Gonzalez, their stud rookie who won Defensive Rookie of the Month, going against A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Garrett Wilson. Like not every once in a while. I mean, like he was lining up against one of those guys almost every single snap and got Defensive Rookie of the Month. He goes down in week 4 early with the torn labrum, out for the season. Matthew Judon later in the game, Pro Bowler since he's been in New England, their best pass rusher by far. He's not the kind of guy who's going to kill you one-on-one, but he was the key to their line games because they use a ton of stunts, New England. He goes down in the exact same game. Those are your 2 best defensive players. One was a rookie. They're gone. And then the pass rush took a huge step back because Josh Uche was doing pretty well to start the season. He has a foot injury. I think it was against the Raiders, or it might have been a week before, but it was around midseason. And you see his production shot down. And then he missed a couple of games. So he was your breakout pass rusher last season. So you get your 2 best pass rushers are now gone. They also lost Daniel Akwale, who I'm not going to go on for him too long. This is one of those, like, just because I cover the team, I know him pretty well. But he was an underrated guy on their defense. He would play when Barmore went down, and he was a really good pass rusher for them. Underrated, but a good pass rusher. So their pass rush has been gone. Christian Barmore has picked up a ton of the slack. He's having his first healthy season. He's breaking out and becoming the player they wanted. He's getting quick wins as a pass rusher. He's dominating and like eating double teams and everything as a run defender, but he's kind of doing a lot of it on his own. So, the defensive front, that's why a lot of the run defense has been good. He's been doing well. Devon Dodcha is having a great season. And then Jelani Tavai, one of their linebackers who's been more relevant. I think you're going to hear his name a few times. I'll tell you right now. He's been having a bigger role. So their run defense has been good. Jabril Peppers, massive part of the run defense. When he plays in the slot, that's why I love how they use him, because he'll play deep, but also in run downs. They won't ask him to cover Cooper Kupp and man, which is one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. When I saw that game where the Giants were like, yeah, Jabril Peppers, 1-on-1 against Cooper Kupp. There you go. But really they'll put him in zone or they'll blitz him.
Yeah, I forgot about that game.
It was
That was them trying to stop the run. That was them getting in there. And I love that defensive staff and Graham with Judge too. They were trying to all right, we're going to use Jabril's big nickel. We're going to stop their run and people. And yeah, they just stopped putting Jabril Peppers and man on Cooper Kupp.
Exactly. So the Patriots have done a better job where he rarely plays man unless he's covering a running back, which I think he may get some shots against Saquon. But really he plays in zone and he blitzes, which allows him to be in a really good run defender and a playmaker. The pass defense. Now, yes, Christian Gonzalez going down sucked. Injuries have really hurt them. Cornerback is the most talented position on their entire team, but availability is really inconsistent. Jonathan Jones missed he played in the first game, then missed 3, I believe it was, with an ankle injury. Jack Jones missed the beginning of the season on IR, came back, gave up 100+ passer rating in the games he played, got cut because he couldn't be relied on. It just wasn't a good fit. It was a gamble in the 4th round. He had a lot of drama. It was probably going to happen. Marcus Jones, really good, dual threat for them, great with the ball in his hand, super athletic. He went down against the Dolphins, which is why Christian Gonzalez wound up covering Tyreek Hill for a lot of the game. So as you can tell from what I'm saying, injuries have devastated cornerback. They bring in J.C. Jackson to try to make things better. He was a great fit in the Patriots system, didn't work out in LA, but that happens with a ton of people who sign big deals and they leave the Patriots. They always end up coming back because the Patriots use them better than anybody else. He has had coverage breakdowns in every single game he's played, and they've all led to explosive plays. Every time they happen, it's bad. The worst one was a deep touchdown to Tyreek Hill where he and Marte Mapu completely blew a bracket because they took a step up to defend the run. And, if you're going to play bracket, the run should be subterranean on your list of priorities. But those kinds of lapses are the reason that this pass defense has not been good. It's their cornerbacks. They're shuffling in so many guys. J.C. Jackson, especially, the lack of continuity there has been pretty glaring. Juwan Bentley, who's the big linebacker, usually is solid in coverage, giving up more plays than he usually does. And then Kyle Duggar, he's playing deep more often than he usually does, so he doesn't make as many plays because he's more of a box safety, and he's not being used in his ideal role. So I keep rambling, but it's just one of those seasons where there's so many different things that are going wrong for this team, and it'd be unfair to single out any one because they all have been working together to create a disappointing product from what looked like one of the deepest and most talented defenses in football entering the season.
Yeah, it stinks those injuries have happened because again, it's a bunch of fun players. Duggar's been one of my favorite most fun guys to watch in the way they've used him, and then Pep too. And yeah, Gonzalez and Judon being down hurts. Last question. I'm asking this because we don't get to do as much prep for this one because we're recording Thanksgiving morning. We do a fantasy draft every week between the team the Giants are playing and the Giants. 1 through 5, what Patriots players should I draft? Because I'm going to use you as my cheat sheet for the big board this week.
I might steal this concept. That's a good idea. Okay, I would bring Jabril Peppers back, just using the right way. Like,
well,
truly,
no. Fantasy draft, like we use it's wide receiver, tight end, running back.
Oh,
We
gotcha.
like it's just like
Can
it's
you
like
tell
kind
I
of a
don't play
fun way for us
fantasy?
to look at some matchups.
Right.
So
Oh man, so
this
this
is
is
a
tough
tough
then.
week with some of the
This is
injuries
gonna
and
be really
stuff.
tough.
So I just need like a 1 through 5.
All right. Malik Cunningham at quarterback. Sneaky pick because he's actually athletic and dynamic.
No, we do an actual fantasy we're running back. We only do wide receiver, tight end, running back.
I am such a bad listener.
So
I'm so sorry. Okay,
good.
just the skill positions. Just the skill positions.
So yeah, we do like we literally draft me, Justin, and then we have a third guy who comes on. We draft 4. We each draft 4 players, and we just keep standings on it for the year. It's kind of a way to just like preview matchups.
This is super embarrassing. All right, my bad. Okay,
you're good.
I think I got it now. All right, Ramondre Stevenson.
Yep, Stevenson 1. That's an easy one.
Demario
Douglas.
Hunter Henry. And then just because, fun fact, Pharaoh Brown, the tight end, is PFF's highest graded offensive player. I think he's their 3rd highest graded receiver because he doesn't get a lot of touches, but anytime he catches the ball, he's like breaking tackles and he's making a big play. So Pharaoh Brown as well, because he might get you a sneaky big play.
Okay, that's good. That's valuable because in this, the number 31 versus number 32 offense, that 4th round gets pretty dry. So I appreciate it.
I got you.
Taylor, now that I know you, I'm going to annoy the shit out of you. Where can people find you?
Annoy the shit out of me as much as you want, man. I had a great time. This has been a lot of fun. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at tkyles39. All my written work is at CLNS Media. I did a preview on some of the keys to the game in this matchup. It doesn't look good on paper, but there are some fun ones. So, I would recommend maybe checking that out. And then I did a film with friends with Bobby. I'm really excited for everybody to be able to see that.
That
you can
fun.
find that on YouTube at CLNS Patriots at our YouTube channel.
Appreciate you as always, man. Thanks again, and we'll either see you in the Super Bowl or 4 years on this specific show, but I'm sure we'll see you around.
Sooner the better. Thanks, brother.
All right, thank you to Taylor Kyles for coming on the show and breaking down the New England Patriots. Probably some Joe Judge talk in there too. And I really liked that. Didn't talk about Joe Judge in the top half of the show. This episode is sponsored by the Candlewick Diner in East Rutherford, New Jersey. They are also our tailgate providers. So this Sunday, if you come to L16 on the curb, you're going to hang out. Danny King is going to be there. We're going to welcome him on the show. Bob Skinner will be there. I will be there. And Candlewick Diner will be there too, providing some awesome food. They're celebrating their 54th year in East Rutherford this year, and it's the 3rd year partnering with Talking Giants for the tailgates, the original food caterer and supporter for the podcast. They're located a mile up the road from MetLife Stadium, and it's the perfect spot for a pregame breakfast or postgame dinner/drinks. They have a full-service bar, so hey, Giants lose? You want to go to the Candlewick Diner after the game? Maybe have yourself a little drink? Well, they got that. And you can do that. And if you want to eat your feelings, they have an in-house bakery with a shit ton of desserts. Or if you live by East Rutherford and you want to stay home and get the Candlewick Diner, they have free delivery. They have an extensive menu from breakfast to burgers, steaks to pasta. Check out the Candlewick Diner in East Rutherford, New Jersey for all your diner favorites. You'll be glad you did.
Be glad you did. I'm excited for them for the tailgate this weekend. We didn't talk about Joe Judge in the beginning.
Did you talk about Joe Judge in the interview?
Very, very, very little bit, but it's. I hope I get to see one Joe Judge. I ran a poll to see like which coaches do people most fondly of. Shermer had the most votes. He had over 50%, which makes sense, right? He did the most with what he had. I hate that McAdoo honestly gets more than Judge, and it's just simply because McAdoo wanted Mahomes, and I'm like, well, okay, good, sick that he wanted the best QB of all time, wanted to trade up for him, right? That's awesome that he wanted to trade up 13 spots, for a quarterback. That's sick. He's a horrible coach. Like to me, he is the worst coach of the 3.
He ruined Eli. He revived Eli, and then he ruined him.
Yeah, and that he was a horrible leader of men. I mean, he's like, I hate to say this because like they're NFL people. Like if you asked me which one was just the dumbest. It was McAdoo. Like,
yeah,
they asked him a question and he just sat there blank once, right? Like, I don't know. But it's just like, oh well, he wanted Mahomes. It's like, okay, cool. Congratulations. But at the end of the day,
congratulations.
I'm happy we got Brian Dable. But it's the return of Joe Judge. Now, welcome on Danny King for weather and trivia. Danny, what's the weather looking like? I need to know because I'm going to be there. You're going to be there too.
I will be. It's gonna be like 50 degrees, so it's not gonna be too cold. I feel like for this time, it's colder
Really?
up here today.
I thought it was going to be colder than that.
I'm looking at some like 47, like 47, but basically 50 at that point. I feel
No,
like
Dan,
it's more
don't. We're not in the
rounded.
business of rounding up here.
We're not in the business of rounded up.
Is it going to rain?
There's like a 20% chance of rain. Nothing crazy though.
Oh, I'm seeing something different.
You're seeing something different. I'm seeing.
I'll be so angry.
Hang on, let me quickly pull up my backup weather model.
Jesus,
because I guess
Danny. Oh my God, it's gonna fucking rain.
What do you mean it's gonna rain?
It's
My
gonna rain.
model's not saying that. It's gonna rain at like later in the evening, like after like the tailgate's gonna go on fine. The game's probably gonna be it's gonna be closer to the end of the game. It might pour.
Every game, every
will
home
pour.
game besides the Washington game.
Oh,
every home game has been miserable, and it's because it's rained at like all of them.
I'll make a Danny guarantee. Danny guarantee coming in right now. It will not rain until the fourth. It will not heavy rain. Heavy rain until the fourth quarter. It might be a shower. Jesse, I look on the bright side of things, right? A shower. We can take a shower. We all need to shower every once in a while.
I'll put you in the shower at the warehouse in Jersey City after the game.
Remember when Dan Snyder, when they hired Ron Rivera on January 2nd?
That's not his name.
Happy Thanksgiving. No,
what?
I'm talking about the old Commanders.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Dan Schneider. You're talking about
when they introduced Ron Rivera in January. It's like, first of all, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Was that sarcasm?
No, it wasn't. I responded to that tweet back in 2020, and someone liked it. And I was like, "What is this?"
Nice.
It's a Thanksgiving throwback. What do you guys think? So I'm trying to get the new setup for this, and I'd like the listeners' opinion on this. So if I center this, you're not going to be able to see any of like the stuff, right? Like, so you can get it like we're recording this in the morning, so it doesn't pop as much. I'm trying to get this like to have a cool backdrop. I was thinking leaving this like this, and then putting like pictures. Like I want to have a picture of the Kenny Golladay touchdown.
Nice.
And other just
That's
random
perfect.
stuff.
That's perfect.
Down this wall.
Maybe we'll frame you with the lighter and MetLife in 2021.
Oh, that's another good one.
There's a video of you with the lighter in MetLife in 2021 acting like you're going to burn down the stadium from like section 300s. So maybe we'll take a screenshot from that video and frame it.
Yeah, so we'll think of I like memories, and I like talking Giants memories, and you two comment them at us, and I'll try and get some stuff framed on there.
You probably got to get the Mr. Purple one framed, that playoff one, because that might be the last one we ever have. I'm joking, but still, that'd be a good photo, I think.
It would be a good photo.
Yeah, it would be a good photo. All right, what's trivia for this week, Dan? I'm excited for this one. Lots of history with the Patriots.
Don't tell me you're running out of questions.
Well, John Hilleman was my question, and then it got absolutely yoinked on Twitter, which I was half devastated about, but it's fine. We move. 2 Giants players have a touchdown against the Patriots. Wait, hang on. Let me reword that. 2 Giants receivers have scored 2 touchdowns in a single game against the Patriots. Can you name them? One of them is it's just funny to me. One of them, if you guys get it, then you guys are geniuses. I will say that.
Let's see.
I've been on a Ruben Randall kick recently. I know he was there in 2015.
So Victor Cruz had only 1 receiving touchdown in the playoff. Is this?
Oh, sorry. This is regular season as well only.
Jake Ballard had 1 in 2011.
Did Hickson have 2 in that Week 17
I think
game?
you know what? I think Plax had 2 in 2007.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I know he had 1, but I'm gonna say that he had 2.
All right.
Danny?
Yeah, I agree with that Plax too. So what whoever wins will be whoever gets to the second one part right. So 2007, 2011, 2015. Maybe someone in 2015. I'm going to say Odell. I know Odell had that one big touchdown in the game. I'm going to say he had another one in that game too.
I'm gonna say Plax and Ruben Randall. I've been on a huge Ruben Randall kick recently.
I'll say Plax and Odell.
Plax is correct, and he is the only player in basically the modern era of the New York Giants who have scored 2 touchdowns against the Patriots. The other one, you have to go back all the way. We are going way back to 1974 to even find the second guy that scores 2 touchdowns, and it's Ron Johnson. So my problem
I can't believe we didn't get that, Justin.
I know.
I'm aware that was who I knew you weren't going to get. But also, you guys were like talking around Plaxico Burst for a minute there. I was like, are they just not going to get Plaxico? But basically, this is showing me we need more Giants receivers to score touchdowns against the Patriots. It's getting outrageous. We only got one that has 2 since 2000. What are we doing here, guys? Can we pick up the pace?
Wandale Robinson, let's go.
Wandale Robinson's had like less than 100 yards in the last 5 games combined. He like started so hot coming off the injury, and now he's just not being used as much.
I was so hyped with my John Hilliman question, so I was devastated that I couldn't use it. That would have been a great talking point.
I'm telling you, that's the worst running back the Giants have started in my lifetime. I challenge anyone to find someone different. Like, remember Rob Martin? I was mad that they cut Rob Martin for John Hillman. That's how bad John Hillman. John Hillman actually was on this show. That just hit me. The most boring interview I've ever done.
All right, enough.
You could barely hear it.
Enough.
It's like, dude, you're a UDFA. Answer the questions. Don't treat this like a press conference. I ended after like 8 minutes.
Enough with the slander, my friend.
All right.
Very good running back for St. Petersburg.
Shout out St. Peter.
I still think I follow him on Twitter. Fantasy draft. Danny's picking first this week. He had 54 points last week. He's only 7.7 points behind me for the lead. Justin, you had 38 points. Not a bad outing, but he's 75 points off the lead. And then myself, after a 41-point outing, is still in first place. Danny, you have the first pick this week. Who we going?
I mean, I know they are a solid run defense, as you guys talked about earlier in the show, but I'm gonna have to go with Saquon Barkley. I know this Darius Slade being out, possibly being out, is kind of a scary thought in terms of this passing game. And I mean, the Patriots do give up points in terms of PPR and all that. They gave up 14 to Indianapolis, 24 to Washington, 24 to Buffalo. So it's possible for Saquon to pop off, and that's what I'm betting on. And that's like the one. That's like gonna be the guy every week when you got the first pick, most likely.
Yeah, I would have went him in this game too. I think the receiving output he put in this last week, I think they're going to try and lean into that a little more. So he was number 1 on my big board too. Justin, you have the second pick.
I'm going with Ramondre Stevenson. From a volume standpoint, I think out of all players in this game, this maybe even includes Saquon Barkley, I think Ramondre Stevenson's going to get the heaviest amount of volume, and it's mostly because if this is a PP, this is one of those games, Bobby, that like I could win this week simply because Ramondre Stevenson has 12 catches for 30 yards. And it'll be 12 PPR points for me. So we're thinking about switching this to half PPR next year. This could be one of those games that's like, oh crap, Ramondre Stevenson is the reason why.
Here's the reason I might not change it to half PPR is because then it ruins like the all-time like points per game and stuff like that.
Right. You've already dug our graves. We got to lie in it.
Mr. Brownstone had a good idea. Get a fat head of me holding up the frame like it's a microphone, but I can just get a fat head of Mr. Brownstone holding up a microphone with the natty daddy.
That's true.
Can you get custom fat heads?
I'm pretty sure you can. And we already have that design of Mr. Brownstone holding the microphone anyway.
Yeah, that's all right. So I'm gonna put together a list. So Kenny Golladay, touchdown. Mr. Brownstone. I feel like I could just get like a portrait of Steve Burns from Blue's Clues is one. What else? Maybe here's the thing: is if someone comes over my house and like this is my office, and it's like, hey, here's my dead dog smoking a cigarette. It's like what? It's like explaining that is very difficult.
I think you should just get a small picture, not a big fat head, but a small picture of Lucy smoking a cigarette, and just be like, "Here's my dog," and I'd be like, "Oh, nice."
That clip you shared the other day, where I was like, "And we're gonna sacrifice this dog." That got a good. I was like, I forgot that's
an all-time clip.
All-time clip.
Yep.
All right, I have back-to-back picks. Sheesh. So I'm gonna go. I gotta be honest right now. I know who I'm taking, but I forgot his first name. I'm pretty sure it's Demario. Demario. I'm taking Demario Douglas. This is how bad the Patriots are. Taking Demario Douglas.
That means you're taking 2 Patriots back to back if you're taking a Patriot first?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Here's the thing is Slayton. I would take Slayton here, but I don't know if he's going to play, and this is not a tradable slot. And I'm going to go Hunter Henry.
That's the pick. That's the pick.
Giants
Giants are going to be blitzing a lot. He's somewhat of a security blanket. He is like essentially their red zone offense too. I'm going to go Hunter Henry with my second pick. Justin.
Nobody has taken the leader who's leading the Patriots in receiving touchdowns and receptions and receiving yards, I'm pretty sure. I will be taking...
You're going to take a guy that's on IR?
Nope, I'm not. I'm not. Because I looked it up.
That's a little curveball there.
You know what it is? It is crazy. I said to myself 5 minutes ago, oh, look, Kendrick Bourne is on IR. And he hasn't played the last couple weeks. And I was literally about to take him. So I knew that. Pivot, Sterling Shepard.
Damn. Shep was going to be my late round pick.
Damn. I
like it. I
mentioned
that in the beginning of it. All right, Dan, you got back-to-back picks, even though there's other people I'd take before Sterling Shepard. But
I feel like this is going to get.
That's definitely the earliest Sterling Shepard has went. I don't think he's maybe only been picked one time. Danny, back-to-back picks.
I feel like this is going to get eye rolls, and I'm eye rolling at myself because I don't even like it really. Because let me look here. Yeah. I'm going to take Zeke here.
I don't hate it. I was thinking about taking him with my pick. He has a touchdown streak against the Giants too, and I bet you they know about that.
Yeah, and I mean he does get points PPR wise. He had 10 against Indianapolis. He went on a dry spell, but I mean there's a chance maybe he gets used in the red zone a little bit. So I'm down with that. And so if I'm correct, this is a tradable slot, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking Slayton.
Makes sense.
If he plays, great. If he doesn't, then I'm gonna have to scramble on the train Sunday morning. All
right. Oh yeah, we're gonna be there. Well, we can verbally say that because it's internet and stuff like that, but we have to verbally tell each other if we can play by it. Justin, who do you pick?
Juju.
Damn it, dude. Taking all my damn picks. All right, so I am going to take Wandale with this pick. I mean, Giants starting slot receiver. And then
there's another like kind of easy pick here.
Gesicki or Bellinger?
Gesicki. He's the easy pick.
Is he though?
Yeah, he has better stats than Bellinger.
But Bellinger hasn't been starting until recently.
Very true.
Actually, let me look up Daniel Bellinger's stats.
I mean, he had 6 points last week.
Remember we said what was the over-under that we set in the offseason, Bobby? Did we do it on his PPP? Daniel Bellinger?
Yeah, we did, and we were low on it. And people were like, I don't know.
Well, we said 30 catches, right? Something like that?
I can't remember.
It was a really low number. We were both like, he's going to get lower than that.
Well, he was like 40th of 42 tight ends in yards per route run last year. That's a starting tight end. I am going to go Bellinger, though. You know what?
Wow.
He's
due for a touchdown. He is due for a touchdown. I'm going Daniel Bellinger, even though I had Gesicki and Pharaoh Brown over him on the big board. Justin, your last pick.
Mike Gesicki.
Makes sense. So you weren't playing mind games with me. I would have lied to you on that. Danny, what's your last pick?
Oh Lord. I kind of forgot I had another pick. Wow.
Take Hodgins.
Wow. Oh, Justin, that may just be a fantastic shot. I won't lie to you.
Jalen Hyatt available, Isaiah Hodgins still available. There's starting receivers in a draft where it's not full of talent, and we're just like, nah.
There's a lot of depth here.
It's those two that is this the game? Do I want to go? Nah, I can't bet big on I'm gonna have to go Hodgins. I can't bet big on Jalen Hyatt doing robust play. I can't. Not at this moment in time when it's a close fantasy race.
Not in this moment of time.
I don't keep track of this, but I want to see if this ends up being the lowest score totals. Actually, the Jets is probably the lowest scoring total of the year. All right. Let's win some games. Giant factors. We pick our X factors for the game.
You don't want to recap the fantasy draft?
Danny has Saquon Barkley and Ezekiel Elliott, and Darius Slayton and Isaiah Hodgins. I'll say it. Last year that would have been a big scoring day. We'll see how it goes this year. Justin has Ramondre Stevenson, Sterling Shepard, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Mike Gesicki. I'll say it too. 2 years ago, that would have been a big scoring day. And I have DeMario Douglas, Hunter Henry, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Daniel Bellinger. That would have not been a big scoring day in any year.
No.
I'm feeling bad about my team. I feel like having the third pick was I should have thought this through when I got to pick the order for the week one that the Patriots had this. All right, giant factors for the weeks. Danny, you're up first.
Should have thought this through in August.
I mean, my giant factor this week is a player that's kind of a little nice surprise recently. I'm going Cordell Flott. He's having a little fun. I'm kind of like saying Cordell Flott's name in a good light. I wish he was able to play the rest of the game last week. I think he was wrongly ejected. That's just my point of view, but that's neither here or there. Cordell Flott's been making plays when he's been on the field. Obviously, he's having some. I want to, because when you look at the secondary room, obviously Deontay Banks going to be there. Is Xavier McKinney going to be there? I don't know. He might be gone years then. So I just want to have reason to believe that the secondary will be a good unit going into next year. Deontay Banks being good, that's great. But Cordell Flott being good and being a revelation for the Giants secondary is something that I'd be very excited about. So Cordell Flott, go out there, get an interception against Mac Jones. This is a week to do it because this is not a good quarterback. So Cordell Flott, go out there, be a giant factor, get a pick, make plays, force another fumble this week while we're at it. Let's have fun with it, Cordell. You're my giant factor.
Justin, who is your giant factor?
I said to myself that if Danny went defense, I would go offense. And a giant factor that's impacting me right now, this is probably the first time in podcast history for me, and this is like 1,000 episodes. I'm fighting off a big crap right now. So that's a big giant factor. My giant factor is Sterling Shepard. Make a memory. If Darius Slayton's going to be out, and even if Slayton's out, maybe he's limited, maybe they don't want to play him all that much. You're the veteran. You're on this team. You're floating around. You're keeping everybody calm on the sideline. You're the coach. You're the coach's coach without being a coach. Make a memory if you're going to be playing, if you're getting the majority of the snaps. One more time, young Shep. You're my giant factor.
Brought to you by La Quinta. My giant factor is going to be Xavier McKinney. Giants are going to be blitzing and be man heavy. They like to go to Hunter Henry. Be good in man coverage, and then also, let's make some plays in the coverage game, right? You've been good in the run game. I want to, can I see Xavier McKinney's hands touch a ball this year? Has Xavier McKinney's hands touched a football this year?
Forced fumble.
In the passing game.
No.
That wasn't already in an offensive player's hands.
No.
I don't think they have. I don't think his hand has touched a football this year. I want Xavier McKinney's hands to touch a football this year. We were able to save the fingers. We'd save them for this moment. Xavier McKinney be a giant factor. All right, time for spread picks. Our biggest slate ever because you have Thanksgiving and there were some games I didn't want to leave off, and the first ever Black Friday game. Whoop, whoop. The listeners went 4-3 last week. They are 42-40. They are being represented by Kevin Jordan this week. Danny's in second after going 3-4. He's 36-46. I went 4-3. I'm over 500 the last 3 weeks. I'm 35-47, and then Justin's in last after going 3-4. He's 34-48. But we're all within 2 games. We're a good bit behind the listeners. But hey, big slate this week, which means big time comebacks. Before we get into it, Danny, who are spread picks brought to us by?
I mean, guys, there's so much to be thankful for this year. Obviously, you got family, friends, food, but the biggest one is NFL football all week long because DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping your Thanksgiving week up full of action. New customers can bet just $5 on the NFL action to score 150 instantly in bonus bets. No matter your appetite, there's something for you. Money lines, parlays, props, live bets, and so much more. You name it, they got it. There's so much to do on DraftKings Sportsbook. It's honestly disturbing how much there is to do. But what you need to do is to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WORLD. New customers can bet just $5 on the NFL Thanksgiving action and score 150 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL with promo code WORLD. The crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort, must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details of state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Guys, you'll be glad you did on this Thanksgiving Day.
Be glad you did. All right. Speaking of Thanksgiving, we got the 3 Thanksgiving games. We got Packers at Lions -8. By the way, I just want to put it up there. If you say that the Lions and the Cowboys shouldn't play on every Thanksgiving, you're wrong. You're dead wrong.
Correct.
Listeners represented by Kevin Jordan are going Packers +8. And I agree with them. I think the Packers lose this game, but they lose by exactly 7 points. The Lions have been, they've been winning games, but the Bears almost beat them. So I think short week, Packers keep it within 7. I'm going Packers +8. Justin, who do you got?
Lions, I believe in tradition.
That's true. See, but I believe in picking the Lions on Thanksgiving when they really suck, but they have a big spread that they can cover.
I know. And Lions defense hasn't been very great over the last month. They've been kind of booty.
I'm a little disappointed that we don't get to see like David Blau starting for the Lions. Like I want to see that's tradition. Is the first game is very bad Lions football, and then the second game is, well, I'll tell you in a second.
So
Danny, who do you got?
So in a way, having the Packers cover is tradition.
Yeah, sure. I love tradition. Let's just say, yeah. Danny, who do you got?
I saw the stat on Twitter last night. Every time there's a waxing gibbous moon, the Lions have lost on Thanksgiving. Can you guess what the moon is tonight? So waxing gibbous. I think that's how you say it. I could be butchered. It's that what I'm trying to say is the Packers +8.
What? Did you just make your pick based on the moon?
Yeah, the Lions are 0-12 every time this moon phase happens. I literally saw this on Twitter last night. So
all right, ride with it.
I'm riding with it.
Okay.
I'm not.
What's your horoscope?
Oh, I don't.
We're not doing that on this
podcast. I don't know what that is. I just saw it.
Wasn't that the moon?
Maybe, I don't know.
I knew that would get Bobby.
I'm looking a stat up right now though. I'm looking at the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, last time it happened was 2020 and they lost.
With the waning Cowboys on Thanksgiving with the waning moon.
Oh, it's a waxing. Sorry.
Excuse me.
I could.
Did we not do a Thanksgiving? Oh no, they played on back-to-back Thursday night. They're 1-3 in their last 4 Thanksgiving games. The Cowboys are. The only win being against the Giants, and I think the Giants covered in that game.
That's so frustrating.
We got Commanders at Cowboys -13.5. The Commanders have had some wins in there. I'm going Commanders plus 13.5. Do not let the fact that the Giants own the Commanders distract you from the fact that they play up to good teams somehow. Commanders plus 13.5. Cowboys never cover on Thanksgiving. Justin.
I'll agree with you.
Danny.
It's too big of a spread, but I'm going to be honest. I'm going the Cowboys here. The Commander. I understand we can't look too much into last week, but the Cowboys are just out that much better than the Commanders.
The listeners are agreeing with you, Danny. And then the nighttime Thanksgiving game, which I don't know if I love that, but it's a good game. So 49ers at Seahawks plus 7. I like the Niners. The Seahawks, man, I feel like they're not as good as thought by many people. I'm going 49ers minus 7. Again, 49ers were the best team to ever have a 3-game losing streak. Danny, who do you got?
I mean, I wish I knew if Geno Smith was 100% going to play tonight. Even still, he's expected to play. Thanks, Rappaport. But I'm still going to go to Niners here. I think right now they're just a more hot team.
The listeners agreed. Justin, are you with us or against us?
49ers.
Oh, Lord.
It's bad for Bobby. I've agreed with Bobby on a lot of these. It's bad for Bobby.
I mean, we have basically the same record this year. We disagreed on Packers line, so we'll either be tied for Black Friday or I'll have a 2-game lead.
Let's get it on.
Black Friday! We got the first ever Black Friday game. We got Dolphins at Jets plus 10. Tim Boyle makes his first start on national TV on Black Friday at 3:30 in the day. What do you got, Danny?
See, like the Dolphins just never win. I feel like away from home. I feel like that's like a big thing. But the Jets are the Jets, and they have Tim Boyle, so I'm going to go Dolphins, just based off Tim Boyle.
I'm going Dolphins. The Jets are done.
The listeners are going Dolphins too. I'm going Jets. This is a very emotionally immature locker room with the Jets, which means they think that Tim Boyle's actually going to help them make the playoffs, which means the defense is going to play lights out. The Dolphins have not been playing totally up to expectations as of late. You know, they barely beat the Raiders. And they're not there. They might have an upgrade at quarterback. Might. So I'm going Jets plus 10. Jags at Texans plus 1.5. Justin, I'm sure you have lots of takes on these two teams. Why don't you go first?
Oh, that's sarcasm. Texans.
No, it's just a team. There are two teams that get talked about a lot. I feel like in John Boy Media football.
Texans. I just think that offense is better. I think they're playing better football right now, even though Jaguar fans have been kind of on my case on my power rankings videos about, they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They're still not playing very good football, so I am going to go with the Texans.
Oh, I thought you were high on the Jaguars.
No, I was preseason, and then they've disappointed me. Their offense and Trevor Lawrence hasn't really looked good, and Calvin Ridley hasn't been the addition that I thought he would be. I'm kind of out on the Jags.
That is another off-season take that the Brandon Cooks one did not live up to the hype. The one is like, why are people acting like Calvin Ridley is like some amazing wide receiver one when he's just a good wide receiver who has a history of quitting on plays and shit. I'm going Texans plus 1.5. They beat the Jags already, and I don't see them having an issue here. So I'm going Texans. The listeners are going Jags. Danny, who are you going?
Go Texans as well for all the reasons you all said.
All the reasons. There's not one of them you disagreed with.
No, because you guys just got great takes.
Steelers at Bengals plus 2. I can't believe that this spread is this close with the Bengals starting Jake Browning at quarterback, and the Steelers just fired Matt Canada. Steelers minus 2. Easy. Listeners are going Bengals, though. Justin, how about you?
Steelers, even though I hate them. I just think their Bengals are very QB dependent, and when you don't have a good QB in there, it's going to be tough.
Danny?
And they fired Matt Canada, so the Steelers are going to win, and they're going to cover with you.
Oh, that's right. Firing a coach, new coach comes in, new energy.
Giants beat the Eagles when they fired Jason Garrett for Freddie Kitchens. Saints at Falcons minus 1 for first place in the NFC South versus the 5-5 Saints versus the 4-6 Falcons. I'm just gonna say Falcons -1. Let's get a little chaos. Let's have a 5-6 divisional leader this week. I'm going Falcons -1. Danny.
Falcons are 2-8 against the spread. Saints are 2-7. We got it's gonna be a baller of a game. Baller. Falcons as well.
It'd be interesting to see when the NFC South isn't playing the NFC South, what they are against the spread. It's like, have they won a single one? Listeners are going Saints. Justin, are you with me and Danny or the listeners?
I'm going with the listeners. They're the smart ones this year. I want to be different from you guys. I'm also super out on the Falcons. They disappoint me. Saints.
Browns at Broncos -1.5. I think the Browns defense just shuts them down in this game, and they're going to win another game like 13-7. I'm going Browns +1.5, Justin.
Dude, all really Russell Wilson's doing, and he leads the NFL in doing this. He's checking it down. Like, think back to that game-winning drive against against the Bills that they had. It was just checking it down, and hey,
that's not the way to beat the Browns either. Like, they give up explosives.
Take what a defense gives you, obviously. So I'm not faulting Russ for doing that, but that's what this Broncos offense has been over the last month. They had a very hot start to the season, and it's kind of slowed down, but their defense has obviously really picked up. I'm with Bobby. I think the Browns are going to win a really nasty one.
Yeah, like the way to beat the Browns is to create explosives, and the Broncos just don't do that. Listeners agree with me. Danny, do you agree with all of us?
I mean, the Broncos country is riding again, so I'm going to be taking the Denver Broncos in this game.
Did Russell Wilson stop saying "let's ride" in interviews? I was watching that other game the other night, and he didn't finish it with that.
I hope so.
I hope so too. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm rooting for Russ, by the way. I feel like he got so much
hate
that I'm rooting for him. Bills at Eagles -3.5. This is such a hard game to pick for me. So, Danny, who do you got?
I mean, Eagles didn't look too good last week. Bills, they won one game. They beat the Jets. Congratulations. You deserve a star. I would take the Eagles still. I think they're just still the better team than Buffalo. And the Eagles, I mean, one bad game really shouldn't equate to too much. But I look too much into it because I hate the Eagles. But yeah, Eagle.
Listeners are going Bills. Justin, who do you got?
Is this a primetime game?
425.
425. I know.
Bills.
So, again, because this is such a hard game to pick for me, since it's a 3.5 point spread, I'm just going to take the points. I'm going to go Bills. And then, is it Ravens at Chargers or Rams? Oh, Chargers. Ravens, I put LAR. LAC there, Bobby. Ravens at Chargers +3.5. Justin, who do you got?
Ravens. Chargers just stink. Like they just stink. And I actually do think I'm excited to see this Ravens defense go up against what is a really good offense. And I'm also interested to see how the Ravens will operate offensively without Mark Andrews, and if some of their receivers can step up, and if Charlie Kohler, shout out Charlie Kohler and Isaiah Likely, two NFL draft crushes that we had tight ends the last couple of years, if they could also step up to the plate too.
Reminds me, I tried to claim Kohler in fantasy. I wonder not Kohler, Likely. Did I get him? Because if not, I'm going to get Kohler. I didn't get him, so I'm gonna drop Miles Sanders. I've had Miles Sanders on my team all year just because he's a starting back. He gets no points. I'm going Ravens as well. Danny, who do you got?
Ravens. We saw Justin Herbert's emotion last week. Don't ask Brandon Staley though if he's calling plays. The soft spot for him these days, I guess.
Yeah, what a little baby. That reminds me, I need to set my lineup for Thanksgiving too. Aaron Jones is out.
Big.
Listeners went Chargers. So you went Ravens, Danny? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I appreciate you listening to my pick.
You're welcome. It's Thanksgiving. Before we get into our score predictions, we got to do what's something we're thankful for.
Oh my God, I really have to crap. Like, it's really bad.
Danny, what are you thankful for?
God, I mean, there's just so much that I could take.
God, and then who else?
Wait, what did you just say?
Well, I said, what are you thankful for? And you said God.
Oh yeah. Shout out to him. I'm thankful for a family man being the quarterback of the New York Giants right now.
Tommy, you're thankful for Tommy DeVito?
Yeah, I am.
Is he Italian?
Yeah.
Justin, what are you thankful for?
I'm I mean, can I say, I can't say all of you because that'll make Bobby feel really weird and then he's going to make some sort of joke. I am going to say all of you. How about that? Because I genuinely am thankful for all of you. I'm thankful for Danny King. I'm thankful for Bobby Skinner. Thankful for Julian, who quit earlier in the year. I
texted Julian yesterday. I was trying to get him to come to Crasherama.
Nice. Come film it. I guarantee if you pay $50, he'll come and he'll film it. Because he's a freelancer. Thankful for all of you. Thankful for everybody who listens too. Talking Giants versus the world.
I am thankful for. I didn't think about this off. Let's see. So Justin already thanked the listener, so that's the easy one that I can't pick.
I'm thankful for the football grump. It's his birthday on Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy birthday, Grump!
Oh wow, happy birthday.
So I said Kadarius Toney in the past. I'm going to be thankful for
Andrew Thomas.
I'm going to be thankful that like the majority of people. Did you see Lawrence Tynes be like, "Well, 9 players is better than 12," and you still get people in the replies being like, "Dude, that's a professional athlete. Like, you're not going to agree with him." It's like, my God.
I just want 11 dudes.
We can't even agree to have all the players on the field is a good thing because a professional athlete told you who gives a shit.
Yes, because people don't think freely anymore.
I'm just gonna say I'm thankful for Andrew Thomas.
I said it. I knew it.
Andrew Thomas.
Justin did call this.
Like literally, how would I do the offensive line reports without him? Right? Like I'm selfishly on with the Giants just playing him through an MCL.
Sure.
Like, well, what am I gonna do in the offensive line reports? Like. Like what am I supposed to do here? So I'm thankful for Andrew Thomas. All right, predictions for this game. Danny, what's your score prediction?
I think we're gonna win. As much as I don't really want that to happen, Giants are gonna win an ugly game. I'm gonna throw out an ugly score to show how ugly this game is. Giants are gonna win 12-10.
12-10. I like it. Justin, what's your score prediction?
Giants will lose 16-9.
The Giants are playing the New England Patriots. They beat them in the Super Bowl twice. Twice. Bill Belichick, we're going to put you out to pasture, my friend. We love you, but it's time for you to go down. Giants 77, Patriots 0. We will see you on Monday. We'll see you at the tailgate Sunday morning. Make sure to come out. We appreciate you guys so very much. Until then, let's go Big Blue.